And this is a record which I played once about 3 or 4 months ago, and apparently you, the consumer, is very keen on it. And I've listened to it a few times since then, and it's now reached the point at which it makes me cry every time I hear it, so I may have to segue the next couple of records. This is Amsterdam. Does this train stop on Merseyside?
I spent my life singing songs, and one of the great privileges of my life is that I get to sing the songs of people like Ian Prowse.
One of the things about becoming friends with Ian is that he's got a very acute sense of the history of the city and all of the dirty secrets that as you get older and you read your history, you discover.
It also ranks, I suppose, as one of the great Liverpool songs because it's explicitly about Liverpool in the way that, you know, to put it in distinguished company in the same way the Strawberry Fields was and Penny Lane.
And everyone recognises it for kind of the poignancy it's got to certainly to the city, but just generally to him as an artist as well. You know.
In Dublin, you get a lot of like really sharp tongue wit, you know, and quick fire. Just, you know, it's just everywhere and it's flying at you the whole time. And Liverpool's the same, it's only a different accent.
I was in my little flat in Ellesmere Port, Little Sutton, and it was a Tuesday afternoon, and I'd very recently set up myself an email address because this was the turn of the century was when email addresses came into being. So I got one, and one of the first emails I got was a round robin sort of thing, which was telling the story of William James Mackenzie, the wonderful ghost story about the pyramid, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Once I'd read that, within 25 minutes, an entire song about the city had poured out.
Mackenzie's soul lies above the ground in that pyramid near Maryland. EasyJet is hanging in the air, tagging everyone everywhere. See the slave ships sailing into port. The blood of Africa's on every wall. Now there's a ley line runs down Matthew Street. It's giving energy to all it needs. Whoa, hey.
Tony Kiley had become our producer. We'd become friends at the end of Pele. He was the last drummer that we had, and he was in the Blow Monkeys, and we had a lot of music in common. You know, the whole new wave punk thing. And I would take him songs, and in this little studio down in West Wales, and in the morning I would sing him whatever I had. I'd go, here's a new song, and I'd sing him about 5 songs every time we went down there. And this one morning I'd sang him 4 songs, and he'd go, okay, yeah, we got something we can work in here. We'd always ever record 2 of them. You know, we could only afford 2 over the weekend. I said, I've got this other one. I'm not sure about it. There's something good about it, but I'm not sure that it's going to be strong enough. And I did the first ever performance to somebody else of Does This Train Stop on Merseyside? And Tony Caddy just went, oh, you mad? That's the best thing you've ever brought me.
My first reaction was I was quite startled. I'd never heard Ian write anything like that before. It was very different to what we were working on at the times. And I said to him, I think you've just written the best song you've ever written.
And I was like, wow, really? Because I didn't see it. He saw it straight off the bat. And we recorded it really, really quickly.
Well, it was quite different because Ian was known for writing clever, catchy pop songs with sing-along choruses. This was very different to that.
And we had Johnny Barlow, my cousin, who constructed the bass symphony, which underpins the whole song. And then Tony Kiley was the drummer. We had Dr. Hopkins on all of the keyboards and the string lines and all of that. And Genevieve Moore, who did all of the great soulful backing vocals.
And we talked about don't get involved in the emotion of the song. You're telling the story, but you don't need to let the people put the emotion in. Let them put their own feelings into it. I think Ian had said he wanted to feel Liverpool's past coming out of the Mersey with the vocal on the wind, and we mixed it in probably 2 hours.
When he began to construct it, I was like gobsmacked. I was like, wow, I didn't realise that all this was, hidden within those 4 chords that just go round and round. And as it grew and grew and grew, and we could then tell it was going to be something really special.
Mackenzie's soul lies above the ground in that pyramid near Maryland.
When I first heard this, I think my immediate reaction was that, because I'm old enough to remember early Bruce Springsteen, I could remember Springsteen having a song, I think it was on his Asbury Park album, called Does This Bus Stop at 82nd Street? And so I had to laugh at that. I thought, well, this is a bit cheeky, isn't it? Because we can see where he got the title from. But then I went on to hear the song itself, and very quickly it grew on me, and I thought, well, say what you like, he's certainly worthy of the legacy of Bruce Springsteen. It's got all the quality of a great Bruce Springsteen urban melodrama, if you like, and it's in the end I think it's very worthy. It's more than a homage to Bruce Springsteen. Obviously it's its own song and it's purely about its own subject matter, but I think it's a worthy entry into the list of homages to the boss as well.
I think that one of the things that Ian achieves is he draws on his love of American music. He loves Bruce Springsteen. That's no secret. He calls his daughter Rosalita, for heaven's sake.
Rosalita, jump a little lighter. Senorita, come sit by my fire.
But it's done with such open-heartedness and such. It's not slavishly imitative, because he puts the local perspective into it, and he's also got an acute sense of social and political history in his songs.
Yeah, I think there were certain subjects that I knew that had to go in there. One was slavery. There's no Liverpool without the African slave trade. And one was the famine. The effect of the Irish upon the city is profound, and not just in this song, in a lot of things that I do. And I knew that Hillsborough had to go in there.
I think because within the span of a normal pop song's length, it puts in hundreds and hundreds of years of history, and it also spans the whole breadth of people's feelings about Liverpool, which are always, I think, mixed. If you know the city at all, you don't have one simple opinion of it, so you don't think, oh, it's a great place, aren't the people friendly, and blah, blah, blah. That's a kind of instant tourist summing up. But if you really know Liverpool and you're familiar with its history, it's so complex. It's more than the human heart can really contain. And that's one of the great features of this song, that in its the panorama of the verses, it's covering everything from the very worst things in human history to the sheer fun of being out in Matthew Street and feeling the energy of the city as well. So the range that's within that song, I think, is one of the things that makes it so exceptional.
Yeah, at the end of the song is they're the key lines, really. And I had to stop and think and make sure I get it right. Mainly because I have so many friends who are survivors of Hillsborough. So I had to get that right, out of respect for them, and obviously the 97 people who passed away. So, and it comes just, those lines come just on the heels of the lines about the Bulger murders, which was something that none of us could understand when it happened. That had a real sense of how can human beings act like this.
Can't conceive what those children done. Guess there's a meanness in the soul of
stories, and they're all comments on his life and on things he's been involved in, and culturally that he's been involved in. So that kind of encompasses his living in Liverpool and being part of the history of Liverpool for decades, and drawing the wider story of Liverpool in.
But I didn't think twice about putting in that utter darkness, because that's part of the city. This is not a song talking about the glory and the greatness of Liverpool. It's about everything within the city, the good and the bad. I'd just been unceremoniously dumped by my long-term girlfriend. She'd gone and met somebody else, and I was at the lowest ebb I'd ever been. And I was in my local pub. It was a Tuesday night, literally crying into my ale. And this guy came into the pub in Little Sutton, the Red Lion, that I knew him, but we'd never spoken. I just knew his face, And as he was ordering his pint, he called across the bar to me. He said, "Hey, Prowse, you've just been on Radio 1, the John Peel show. They've just played a song of yours, a song about a train, and Peel got really upset when he played it." I kind of looked at him aghast, because the song, it hadn't been released. We didn't have a record company, so it hadn't, how the hell had he got the song? It turns out that Phil Hayes, the great Phil Hayes from the Flying Picket, had given Peel a CD with 20 brand new Liverpool songs on it. He just took 2 hours and constantly played it then. And it was as if this one door had recently closed on my life and my relationship, but this other one just mysteriously opened up in front of me. And within a matter of months, we had a new record deal, because Peel had this intense emotional reaction to it live on Radio 1. And it just, at the door, it opened up for me, and it was like cosmic,
I think I was aware of him, maybe early 2000s, I think, we became friends. When it came to playing on television, didn't have a band in England. I think Amsterdam backed me up on, I think it was Jonathan Ross or something. We had a ball, And it's just, Ian's just become a really good friend. I think it's the best song with a reference to Liverpool in it since Mike Hart's Almost Liverpool 8. It wasn't like some romanticising it being happening in Greenwich Village, but it's kind of like a Dylan song in a way. For me, I wouldn't write the same way, but I'm glad somebody's doing it. And you know who really recognises it in him? Christy Moore. And you don't really get a better recommendation than that.
Well, it's a really nice story, because I was playing in the Bridgewater in Manchester. And after the gig, we were leaving for London. And as we drove out of the car park, a guy knocked on the window, and he handed in a CD that he made up. He put 8 songs on it, one of which was "Does This Train Stop on Merseyside?" And by the time we got to London, I was just in love with the song, And then contacted Ian, and that's where the story began, really.
To get your work covered by anybody, I think is a fantastic compliment. To get your work covered by somebody like Christy Moore is one of them ones where you get on your knees and you pray to whoever you believe in and go, yeah, nice one for that.
And he asked me about all the lines in the song and what they meant, and did I mind if he did his own version. Christy first played it in the UK at the Hammersmith Odeon, so 4,000 people, and he invited me along. So we went to watch him, and he played it for the first time, and I met him for the first time afterwards.
Alan Williams in the Marlborough Arms, giving a story out to everyone. Famine boats are anchored in the bay, bringing in the poor and desperate. Oh, hey, does this train stop? 'cause his train stopped on Merseyside. Whoa.
Well, after Liverpool, the next strongest reaction to the song is Glasgow. They love the song in Glasgow. And I think anywhere, see, Liverpool is a very popular city. And Liverpool songs, I mean, if I was to take all the cities in the UK, there are more songs that have come out of Liverpool in my direction than from anywhere else, you know. I wish I was back in Liverpool, Liverpool Lou, the Leaving of Liverpool. You know, there's endless songs. Because Ian is a bit of a paddy, you know. There's a bit of a paddy in him somewhere, you know. He's very at home when he comes to Dublin. And he's very in tune with Irish music and with Irish lyrics. And he's a wild boy, and we love him.
My music just wouldn't be the same without the Celtic soul underneath it all. Scouse is like a lost tribe, isn't it, from the Irish, you know. People can't justifiably call themselves Irish, you know, 5-6 generations on from when the great Hungary stream came in. But, you know, in the core of them, that's what they are.
I knew that there was a strong connection between Liverpool and Ireland, you know. When I actually got here, it really struck me how strong that connection was. Like, really, people were quite proud and adamant that they are Liverpool Irish, you know.
I think Ian would make a case for maybe, and I would make a case for a sort of some sort of displaced tradition of Irish balladry as being a big part of it. All four Beatles had Irish background, but they didn't sort of talk about it a whole lot. But look at John Lennon. You know, look at his face. I mean, isn't he from Ireland?
601 guitars, all playing, and a 50-piece choir, I think, just playing well-known songs from the city.
God, I'd have such terrible times with my career trying to find the door back into the music industry and not being able to do it. And now, in the last 5 years, it's just gone. I'm at my most successful I've ever been. So I'm always on the road. I'm always writing songs. I'm always playing. It's a bit like Aesop's fable. You know, the tortoise and the hare. Yeah, I just kept going.
Well, the way I feel about the song now is it's become its own. I don't own this song. Ian doesn't own this song anymore. It's become its own entity via the support and the love that so many people have shown us, like John Peel, Christy Moore.
The song is always more than just its lyrics as well, of course. The song is the melody, it's the quality of that voice, it's the quality of all the instrumentation, the melody and the harmony that's going into it. Lots of this song is actually pretty dark. It's pretty horrible in some ways in terms of the subject matter. The feeling of the song overall is really joyous. It's really upbeat. You know, you can't help but feel uplifted by the song, and that, I think, in the end is fundamentally what we feel about Liverpool. You know, horrible history in some ways. Terrible things happen still, but there's nowhere you'd rather be, you know, on a good night in Liverpool. It feels like it's the centre of the earth.
I fell in love with the song before I met Prowse and got to work with him on a fantastic cover version that we did many years ago. Then I actually got a chance to play the song live with him in Liverpool, which was truly an honour. For me, the song is beautiful. The lyrics are absolutely fantastic, evocative and truly heartfelt. And in my humble opinion, the song sits very proudly, as it should, right up there with the best of the songbook of the great city of Liverpool.
Amid the plethora of cultural references, there's a key point which many people miss about the city. When he talks about famine, boats being anchored in the bay, what defined Liverpool, what made Scouse was the potato famine, the Great Hunger, and the Irish that flooded into the city. And that's the point where it stopped being an English city and became something else, something beautiful.
See the slave ships sailing into port. The blood of Africa's on every wall. Now there's a ley line runs down Matthew Street. It's giving energy to all it meets. Whoa, hey, does this train stop? Does this train stop on Merseyside? one of the best songs ever. Happy 20th birthday, everybody who was involved in that great song. Slán, slán.